Why, hello my fellow apes, I hope you are well. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a video from Trent Horn, who recently published a video titled, Why I Don't Care If I'm Homophobic, with the thumbnail reading, Bigotry or Based. Now, what I thought I'd do is react by using the same rhetoric and indeed bigotry as Trent, but I'm going to switch the target to Catholics. Now, let me make this very, very clear. What I'm about to do and what I'm about to say is not how I feel about Catholics. It's a joke where I'm using Trent's rhetoric. I'm sure if you're Catholic and you disagree with Trent, which, as you're going to see in this video, Catholics do, or at least lots of them do, you will appreciate what I'm doing, I'm sure. All right, with that caveat aside, let's get to it.
Before I spoke at Drew University in 2022, a group of students approached the administration and protested the decision to invite me. According to a news article, one woman read a tweet from Horn aloud, which stated, "I won't call a transgender woman she, because that is the opposite of a woman."
Suppose I said that I won't call a Catholic rational or honest, because Catholics are the opposite of rational and honest.
Many students argued that this tweet was transphobic.
Unbelievably, many Catholics would argue that what I've just said is Christphobic. So much so, in fact, that Catholic communities might not want me to preach my love to their community. Crazy, isn't it? Unbelievable.
Some critics, even those who are Catholic, have accused me of being transphobic or homophobic.
Some critics, even some atheists, have accused me of being Christphobic. Gee, they're just so woke. They've fallen for the wokeness, I tell you. They don't realise that I'm just being based. I'm based, man. Just totally based.
And here's my response to them. I don't care. I do not care.
And here's my response to them. I couldn't care less. You're too inept for me to waste my time with.
What I do care about is being charitable and loving towards all people, regardless of their sexual behavior or identity.
What I do care about is being charitable and loving, even with their intellectual bankruptcy stemming from Catholicism. You see, when I say that Catholics are, let's say, dishonest, it's because I really care about them. That's what it is. I really care about them. Remember, I'm based. It's not bigotry. No, it's just, I'm totally based.
I care about loving my neighbor, even if he really doesn't like what I have to say.
Sure, Catholics don't like it when I point out that they believe in absolute drivel, with much of it being a direct affront to scientific advancements of the last few centuries, but sometimes tough love is the best love.
I care about treating people with respect.
I care deeply about treating people with respect, which is why, rather than accurately representing their views and saying I have rational disagreements with them, I tell them lovingly that they're fools. And better, I'm going to vote to strip them of their rights, because I care about liberty and freedom.
But I have no respect for propagandistic labels like homophobia or its cousin transphobia.
But I have no respect, absolutely no love, for propagandistic labels like blasphemy or its cousins Christphobic or anti-Catholic. No, I have no time for this. Unbelievable. In fact, you're the bigot for saying that I'm the bigot.
That's because these labels are often used to shut down Christians and bully them into abandoning their beliefs.
And that's because these labels are used to bully people like me. That's right, they're bullies for pointing out that I'm bullying people. I'm the victim here. I'm the victim. All I'm doing is telling Catholics that they're pathetically gullible and truth-challenged for promoting barbaric tripe. Sure, I'm showing no empathy, I'm not really loving them at all, and I'm being provocative, but I'm the victim. They are bullying me.
So in this episode, I want to show why Christians should not give these terms respectability.
So in this episode, I'm going to show you why we should not give the mean and stupid Catholic beliefs respect and dignity. Notice, I didn't say Catholic, I said Catholic beliefs, okay? Not bigoted, based, totally based. All right, I am done with this parody because even just pretending to be a gaslighting bully like Trent has left me feeling icky. Let's say icky. Trent speaks about a textbook titled Call to Happiness, Guiding Ethical Principles, which a Catholic secondary school has removed from its list because Catholic parents have found the book offensive. Trent complains about the parents' concerns and then reads from the book, which he sees as not bigoted. Here's him reading one of the segments that upset Catholic parents.
Any sexual act in which a person engages if it is to be in line with the order of nature, ought to involve the uniting of two people of the opposite sex so that the procreation of offspring is a possibility. Any use of our sexual powers which does not do this is disordered. This is how we come to understand by means of natural law that masturbation, contraception, and homosexual acts are disordered, and that we ought not to do them if we want to act in accord with the will of God. End quote. If this is considered homophobic, then that means every faithful Catholic must be homophobic, because this is just what the church teaches.
So, is this really what the church teaches, Trent? Are you sure? I mean, the Pope recently received an all-new Catholic Crusades game hand-delivered by Gabriel, and it features buffs to Catholic priests. Priests can now bless same-sex couples.
And here's my response. I do not care.
You bad Catholic. And don't get me started on slavery, women's roles, and evolution. Alright, actually, do get me started. It took until 1890 for Pope Leo XIII to hit the brakes on slavery. Quite the delayed reaction, considering that the rest of the world under secular thinking was already ditching those chains. Better late than never, though, right? I mean, man, imagine how upset the Catholics were when this nonsense made its way into the church, when the woke were demanding that they remove sermons preaching Jesus' words no less, saying that slaves must obey their masters. They just don't make Catholic men like they used to, do they? Fast forward to Pope Pius XII, he kinda sorta gave a nod to evolution in 1950, didn't he? After years of repressing the truth, God said, fine, I'll send an update. Yes, evolution does actually explain our physical bodies. Fine, you got me. Finally, let's go to 1988 with Pope John Paul II, who was out there praising women. Ugh, praising women, ugh. Sure, women still couldn't be priests, and they still can't because, well, you know why, don't you? You're just not allowed to say it because the woke mob won't let you say it. But hey, baby steps, right? At least they got a shout out. Well done, women. You do so well under Catholicism, don't you? So, Trent, it seems that the church does get firmware updates, albeit at the pace of a snail on a lazy day. But worry not, because once those updates come in, you get to claim that the only reason the West has these values is because of your church. Okay, switching gears one more time. Trent, I want to speak to you directly. Does it not bring you pause when you recognise that the views you hold with the utmost confidence on a great many moral topics do not align with the Church Fathers? From Augustine to Aquinas and beyond, the pivotal figures of your faith were confident in their views that you find deplorable today, such as the necessity of slavery and the marrying of children. If you're so confident that these saints got it wrong on these topics, and you are, despite the many scriptural receipts they provided, would it not be prudent of you to suspect that you might be wrong on the purpose of sexual relations? Are you sure you want to dismiss your fellow Catholics so easy? Is this really love and compassion from you? Is this really an embodiment of humility? This should, I'd argue, give you pause to reconsider the notion that you are in possession of absolute truth. Because at the moment, you're not only elevating yourself above the saints, but you're dismissing your fellow Catholics as not Catholic, since they don't hold your views.
Every faithful Catholic must be homophobic.
To me, this makes it quite clear that you are this generation's equivalent of the pro-slavery theist. Indeed, just as you despise the pro-slavery theists of yesteryear, you are echoing their mistakes. So again, I ask, would it not be wise to listen to your Catholic brothers and sisters, and even, the Pope? Believing that you, today, possess the correct interpretation of God's words ignores Catholic history and relies too heavily on your own understanding, something the Bible explicitly warns against.